uh, how can I call you? It's better to call you Dr. Chong or?
Call me Chongguan will do. Chongguan.
Chongguan. Okay. Thank you for attending this Zoom meeting, Prof. Chongguan. So I would like to introduce you first and then start with your presentations.
No problem.
Prof. Chongguan is an Associate Professor and Consultant Psychiatrist, Department of Psychological Medicine, University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He is an Associate Professor and Consultant Psychiatrist at the University of Malaya in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He is also the Deputy President of the Malaysian Health Association and Treasurer of the Malaysian Psychiatric Association. Dr. Chongguan received his medical training from the University Malaya Medical School, graduating in 2001. In 2005, he pursued his master's degree in psychological medicine at the University Malaya. Shortly after completion of this degree in 2009, Dr. Chongguan was awarded a scholarship from the European Union via ASELINK to complete a clinical epidemiology and evidence-based medicine program at Utrecht University in the Netherlands. He was then offered a PhD fellowship in clinical epidemiology at Utrecht University. In 2010, returned to serve as a senior lecturer and continued his doctoral training at the University Malaya after he successfully completed his second master degree, Master of Science in Clinical Epidemiology. In 2012, he completed his first doctorate of philosophy study in psychology oncology. In 2017, he completed another doctorate degree in medicine in psycho-oncology in University Malaya. He is currently pursuing his third master degree in health research ethics in University Malaya. Dr. Chongguan is the editor-in-chief of the Malaysian Journal of Psychiatry, has published numerous articles in prestigious medical journals, and is a regular speaker at local and international conferences. His main area of expertise is the management of major psychiatric illnesses such as bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety disorder, and addiction. He is particularly interested in the treatment of depression among cancer patients and is passionate about improving and progressing the care management of psychiatric patients in Malaysia. To date, Dr. Chongguan has more than 100 international publications with its index of 20 and more than 1,300 citations. He is listed as one of the world top 2% scientists 2022 based on the report from Stanford University. Wow, so many educational background and achievements, Prof. So it's really an honor for us to hear from you. So the time is yours, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the very kind introduction. I just obsessed in taking degree. It's nice, nothing special. Once I stop studying, I will be very lazy, so I keep studying. So please allow me to share my screen. So thanks, Atik, for inviting me. I know Atik from Ethical Committee. He was one of the reviewer of our ethical committee this year, and also my classmate now in my master program. So I hope to see all of you in person. When Atik sent me the invitation, I was thinking, okay, good, I can go and visit your university. But unfortunately, we'll do it online first. I hope next time I have the opportunity to visit your center one day.
Yes, and eat nasi padang as well, yeah.
Yeah, nasi padang. Okay, selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. So I'm going to share with you what are the management plan of cancer patients that have psychiatric problem. It could be different mungkin lain sikit dengan Indonesia, but this is what we do in Malaysia. And I was told some of the participants today are psychiatrists. So I incorporated some of the finding research article our team have done in the past. So there will be a mixture. Some will be suitable for the undergrad to learn about what is the psychological issue in cancer patient. Some of it is relevant to maybe psychiatrists or consultant or specialists regarding some of the research project we have done in University Malaya. So it's a mixture. So please bear with me. So you find some of it is not relevant to you, some are relevant to you. So without further ado, let's see. Psycho-oncology, the research have evolved a lot. In the beginning, no one knows what is psycho-oncology, so they study a lot of prevalence study. For example, prevalence of depression, prevalence of anxiety. But slowly moving forward to 2022, 20th century, we do more research on how to improve the quality of life in cancer patients. Because all the years, people only focusing how to cure cancer, how to prolong the life of cancer patient. But slowly we understand that they are suffering. They are suffering a lot when they have cancer. Not because they worry of dying, but the disease, the treatment really make them suffer a lot. So we are moving toward of improving quality of life rather than just focusing on prolong their lifespan. Make them to have a good life while they are still living. So for the undergrad, or for those who are interested to take up the field of psycho-oncology, this is the first lesson you always learn. This is what I learned also when I joined psycho-oncology. My palliative physician teach me something that you want to know how to empathize someone with cancer, you must know what is illness trajectory. Illness trajectory means your life, the process, just like a train. Your journey will change a little bit, could be detour a little bit. If you don't accept this illness trajectory, there's no way that you can empathize your cancer patient. Why we need to know? Because these are the common questions you will be facing when you are handling cancer patient. They will ask you, how long I can live? What will happen to me next? The family member will also will ask you, what happened to my mom? How long can she live? How long my dad will be able to stay alive? So if you don't have the concept of illness trajectory, you will just simply say, he will be fine, don't worry, he'll get well soon. Don't worry, you'll go back and take a rest, he'll be fine. All these are nonsense for me. You are not a, what we call, I think, ethical doctor. You are not a very honest doctor. You just simply say something that is out of reality. So we need to know the illness trajectory. Why? It helps us as a clinician to plan. You know about illness trajectory, you know they are critical, their lifespan is short, you give something more aggressive. You know their lifespan is longer, maybe you will give a milder type of treatment and don't cause too much of suffering, too much of cost, or too much of side effect. But you know they are quite critical, their lifespan is short, give anything that can help them. This is what I always say. Also give the carer some control. You just simply tell someone that your father is okay, but tomorrow you give him a call, oh, your father is ICU. Or you tell the daughter that your mom is all right, but at night you suddenly give her a call that your mom just passed away in the ward. So this is very irresponsible, doctor, if you just simply say your mother is fine. So you need to know the illness trajectory when you handle cancer patient. So at least they are prepared. The carer are prepared, you are prepared, their family member is prepared. This is how you help someone with cancer patient. So there are three distinct types. Only three so far. I checked online until today, no one revised the illness trajectory concept yet. We are still stick to this three types of illness trajectory. The first one is most relevant to us today, about cancer patient. Most cancer patients, before they were diagnosed with cancer, their life is okay. They are still high functioning. Until one day, they notice there is a lump over the breast, or they pass blood in their stool, or they have urine in their blood in their urine. They go and do a physical checkup or lab investigation and detected cancer. From that day onward, you have to accept their lifespan may deteriorate or may be shortened drastically. Some of them pick up the cancer quite late stage, even though they look physically normal and fit. When they do the scan, actually already spread to the bone, spread to the liver, and they have to go through various type of intervention, chemosurgery, and you can see their lifespan is shortened, just on the graph here. So don't try to call it with your patient or the family member and tell them, you are fine, don't worry, you are like normal people, you're okay. No, we have to tell your condition, Makcik, Abah, your condition is having cancer. We have a war, we have a battle to fight together. Please prepare, please believe us, work together. So make them prepare, don't give them the false hope. Another life trajectory is the chronic illnesses, like those have chronic liver disease, COPD, ischemic heart disease. They follow this. In the beginning, they're already a little bit weak because they have chronic disease like ischemic heart disease or COPD. They're always quite dyspneic. They cannot walk for too long. They need to rest. On and off, they will come to emergency department when they have the COAD attack, asthmatic attack, or ischemic attack. So you manage to revise them. So once you revise them, they will be good boy again, stop smoking, stop drinking. But after a while, they forgot, they have another attack. So you can save them for a few times, but one day you will not manage to save them. They will die in the emergency department. This is their lifespan. So you know this lifespan, how to prolong them, ask them to have a healthy lifestyle, comply with your medication, so prevent further attack. Then they won't die suddenly in the emergency department. So illness trajectory is important. You have to tell the patient, I cannot save you every time. You are not always lucky. One time I cannot save you, you will be dying. This is what you need to advise a patient. Last one is the chronic demanding geriatric cases. This is the most interesting type of progression of disease. I'm not sure any geriatrician here, any psycho-geriatrician here. These are patients, they come to your clinic, they're on wheelchair, they are using the walking stick, quite frail. So always in your mind, wow, this lady going to die. Maybe this is the last visit to see her. Next year she won't come already. But somehow they can live quite long, you know. All the dementia patients, they can live quite long, and they never die. Because they are under full attention. They always come for follow-up. The family are putting all the attention on them, feed them well, let them have the best food, best supplement, and comply with all the medication with the maid around. They bathe the patient, they walk the patient, they exercise the patient. So a lot of my old patients, they never die. Somehow they live longer than all my cancer patients. So I say this is one of the very interesting type of illness trajectory. So by knowing it, as I mentioned to you, what is so important about illness trajectory, as a doctor, we have to accept our patient is going to die one day. So don't simply collude with your patient or family member and don't fight death to the bitter end. This is what we psycho-oncology, palliative physician, oncologists don't like to see, fighting death to the bitter end. You know they are going to die. Don't simply put all unnecessary needle into their body and pump all the chemical into their body just to make them breathe, but make them suffer. This is the worst thing to do as a doctor. You cannot change reality. They are dying, but let them die with dignity. In our university, in our hospital, if they are under palliative team, a lot of time there is no needle on their body. We try to make them feel as comfortable as possible. This is very important. As a doctor, have a realistic dialogue, as I mentioned to you. Make them accept what is going on. Give them supportive care, not curative care. You are not the God. You cannot change reality. Their life come to end. We give support. Focus on quality of life. Focus on symptoms control, not only cure. Always, a lot of people feel that I'm a doctor, I can cure everything. If you have this concept, you're going to torture your patient in the end of the day. Control the symptom, focus on quality of life, avoid unnecessary admission or treatment. Sometimes patients feel more comfortable, they are at home. They want to die at home. They want to spend end of their life at home. So don't simply just admit. Actually, in the ward, it's a torture for the family, torture for the patient. They are not happy in the ward. Plan for a good death. People say, mati pun boleh ada baik punya. Trust me, if you know ahead you are going to die, you will plan everything for yourself and your family member. That is a very peaceful type of dying process, rather than you give people a sudden notice. Hi, so and so, your mom just passed away in our ward. That is the worst thing. Let people prepare. As I always say, you let them know roughly how long more their lifespan. Actually, they can do a lot of things. Adjust themselves emotionally, their family, logistically. What is logistically? Nowadays, a lot of us staying in the condominium, right? High floor, have to take lift, fight for lift to go to your house and come down. You need to wait for the lift. For a lot of different races, they have different culture when they die. Just imagine a Chinese die in a condominium at the 20th floor, and the lift is so small. And their culture is once you die, you need to put inside the coffin and transfer to the mortuary or transfer to any place. You never tell the family member that this lady is going to die, and they bring home and stay in the condo, and they die in the condo. The coffin cannot fit into the lift. They are stuck there. In the end, they have to carry the body down with a wheelchair and use the lift to come down and send by the coffin car to whatever ceremony. Who caused all this awkward situation? Is the genius doctor who say my mother going to live for another many years. So whose fault? The genius doctor who simply says something. Give them the wrong clue. So plan for a good death for the family member. But of course, there is still limitation. Unforeseen thing can happen. Cancer patient can develop COPD. COPD patient can develop cancer. Patient can die from accident suddenly. So the illness trajectory is only limited to those who follow the natural process of disease. But in between, of course, other things can happen. This is the keyword or key statement. How to know how to care well for your patient who are dying is to understand how they may die and plan appropriately. It always stands, this statement. As a good doctor, as a very holistic doctor, you have to know about this. Yes, I think we learn in medical school, doctor to cure disease, to save life, to prolong life. Today, lectures is totally opposite what you learn. To take care of your patient who is dying and know how they may die and when they will die to become a perfect doctor. So this one is another thing I think for the undergraduate, please know about this when you take care of cancer patient. This is a Kupper's process phases of change when they face some traumatic or stressful event. All of them will start with shock. When you tell someone that, Mr. So-and-so, actually the X-ray finding or the blood finding show that you are having breast cancer. So they always start with the reaction of shock. Give them some time, let them understand, prepare them. Today, I don't have enough time. If not, I will share with you how to break the bad news. So you won't cause too much shock to your patient or the family member. Prepare them, make them understand. So let them go through not so shocking phase, and all of them will come to denial phase. First, they won't accept. They say, you doctor, you muda saja, you tak belajar lagi, you tak pandai lah, you bodoh lah doctor. I want to see another doctor, second advice. They want to try traditional, they want to go Singapore, they want to go to USA to ask for second advice. Denial. Don't argue, don't get upset. After today's lecture, remember, they are just in denial. They are not purposely want to curse you. They are just in denial phase. So let them try. You say, it's okay, Mr. So-and-so. Please go and look for second advice and check whether what I say is correct. If you need any help, come back to us again. Leave your door open when they are in denial phase. After they have checked everything, they will come to a phase of angry. They will come in and scold you. They say your service is no good. Your nurse do not know how to take blood. You are very expensive. It take long hours to wait for you. They are just in the angry phase. Again, don't get upset. Remember, Prof. Ng has said, patient is in angry phase. Let them express themselves. Just tell them it's all right. I understand your feeling. Let me try to help you. So after angry phase, they are like a balloon, no more gas inside. They come to a phase, they are very soft, they cry, they are quite down, they are quite negative, they try to bargain with you. They will ask you, doctor, could it be wrong some way? Can we do the test again? Maybe can you check with your colleague from another university? Maybe they have a better idea. They're coming to a bargain phase. So again, don't get upset. Tell them, I understand what's your concern. I will try my best to confirm what I told you. Give them chance, give them hope a little bit. Then they will come to a depression phase when they really know this is facts. I really having cancer. It's no more joke. It's a fact. They will come to a depressive phase. So at this time, a lot of times psychology, psycho-oncology, psychiatry will come in, give them support. Counselor will come in to give them support. Once they have gone through all these phases, only they come to the acceptance phase. This is a phase we hope all our cancer patients will achieve. If we don't have a proper system, proper personnel, all the support, all the family support, sometimes they go up and down between angry, bargain, depressed, bargain, angry, then depressed, up and down. Very difficult to reach the acceptance phase. But with a very complete services in the hospital, normally we can guide them through the acceptance phase. So some of you may argue with me, Prof, dapat cancer pun boleh acceptance phase. You go to your daycare, those who come for chemo, they come for weekly chemo or monthly chemo. They are very comfortable sitting there, reading their newspaper, playing their handphone. They don't feel distressed anymore because they already come to the acceptance phase. So it's kind of psychological process. So learn about this, the phases of Kupra and Rose. So next time when you run your clinic, you won't get upset when your patients scream at you, don't trust you, want to ask for a second advice. They are just going through the phases. So the common term we use in psycho-oncology is distress. Why we use the word distress? The reason is less stigma, more acceptable. A lot of time the cases referred to me, they were asking, Prof, what is your impression? I say patient is in distress. Yes, a better term rather than say, patient having major depressive disorder, or this patient is having a severe reaction or whatever. But distress is quite an acceptable term. Your colleague can accept it, the patient can accept it, the family member can accept it. So we use the word distress a lot. So in psycho-oncology, they use this thermometer. They call distress thermometer. Some of you say, it works, but somehow it's quite widely applicable because I have some collaboration with some psycho-oncology from Taiwan, from Japan. They also use this distress thermometer. You use this, give this diagram to your patient to tell them 0 is the condition where you have no distress at all. 10 is the worst distress you have ever faced in your life. Where are you now? Ask your patient. As simple as that. No long questionnaire, no 20-item questionnaire, 30-item questionnaire. Just give this, the thermometer, the diagram to your cancer patient. Just ask, Auntie, at this moment, where are you? 0, no distress. 10 is the worst in your life. Where are you now? So this is roughly the diagram we use. This one I steal it. Saya curi the idea from the Taiwanese. They say if someone score more than 5, go through the list. What the thing that make them distressed? Physical problem, sorry, the M is missing. Physical problem, family problem, emotional problem, practical problem, or spiritual problem. Then address them accordingly. If they are less than 5, go back to treatment as usual. On and off, ask them again. Use the distress thermometer. Once you detected they score 5 or more, then spend a little bit of time with them and ask them what caused you so distressed. and address them accordingly. That's what we do lah. This is a diagram we use. This idea comes from the Taiwanese psycho-oncology team. I find it very practical, simple, and easy to do. Of course, you cannot deny a lot of them will develop depression also. So for the undergraduate student in in Malaysia, we always say depression is common, but how to diagnose depression in cancer patient? Let's look at this diagram or this table. On your left-hand side is the common diagnostic criteria you use to diagnose depression. And follow the DSM-4, DSM-5. You need to have 5 out of the 9 criteria to be present for 2 weeks. Then you diagnose depression. For those who have done your psychiatry posting, you have memorized this very well. But just think carefully. When you come to cancer patient, the last 4 items, you'll refer to the table on your left-hand side. The DSM-4 diagnostic criteria, the last 4 items, unable to think, lose weight, cannot sleep, feel fatigue. These are all symptoms of cancer. Even you don't have depression, you will have all this, because these are the physical symptoms of cancer. So it becomes a little bit irrelevant if you use this to diagnose depression. It's a kind of like every cancer patient also will have depression if you follow this criteria. Yes, these are the physical symptoms of cancer. So how are we going to overcome this? Then you refer to your right, the Etiquette criteria. The Etiquette criteria is to replace all the physical symptoms with psychological symptoms. So we are no more asking the patient of cancer patient, do you lose weight? Do you feel tired? Do you lose appetite? Because it sounds stupid to ask a cancer patient about this to diagnose depression. The patient will look at you, I'm having cancer. What do you think? You still think I can eat very well? You're putting the on-call, the chemo drug on me. How can I eat very well? So it sounds very stupid when you ask those questions. So we have to replace all the physical symptoms to psychological symptoms. So you refer the Etiquette criteria, we replace it with fearful appearance, social withdrawal, self-pityness, and unable to be cheered up. So we use this substitutive approach to overcome the weakness of DSM diagnostic criteria to diagnose depression in cancer patient. And Etiquette criteria is commonly used worldwide when you want to diagnose depression in cancer patient. So this share with you all some of the psychiatrists or some of the researchers from your university. So this is one of the articles we published a couple of years ago. We do a meta-analysis, and these are the findings. The 10.8% of diagnostic criteria, following diagnostic criteria, cancer patient worldwide about 10%, but I think it's too low. Because all these articles, they're based on the very stringent diagnostic criteria, but I feel that depression is much higher than 10.8%. Another thing we discovered that most antidepressants take too long to work. Cancer patients, when they're depressed, when they come to end of life phase, you start the antidepressant, you tunggu lama pun tak ada kesan, patient still the same, patient every day you go and review patients say, sama saja doktor, tak ada rasa apa pun. So we need something faster with rapid reaction. So based on the meta-analysis, systematic review, they say maybe we can use some stimulant. So this one gives me the idea to use stimulant in cancer patient. So I come back to Malaysia, so I did a clinical trial. I initiated Ritalin, methylphenidate on top of whatever antidepressant the patient is taking for those terminally ill patients. So I want to see whether there is a rapid response or not to this stimulant for cancer patient. Now, somehow it does. On day 4 or day 5 already, you see the patient a little bit better, more energetic, more alert, a little bit more positive. So it become a trend. We do use a little bit of stimulant for our cancer patient where they come to a terminal stage, because they really cannot enjoy the benefit of the antidepressant. It takes too long to work. You need to wait for weeks, 2 weeks to work. Sometimes you need to change the antidepressant some more if side effect. So we use a stimulant, but nothing comes with no cost. So quite a lot of side effect have to be careful when you use stimulant, especially for those terminally you use stimulant. Sometimes you trigger psychosis. I have an old uncle have prostate cancer. I start stimulant. At night, I receive a phone call from the ward staff. He start dancing in the ward. He become agitated and start dancing in the ward. So you have to be careful also, especially those cancer patients with metastasis to the brain. So be careful when you use a stimulant. Sometimes it triggers some agitation or psychosis. So I also did a systematic review, say any issues of antidepressant for cancer, because cancer patients are taking chemo drug, hormonal drug. So whether any drug-drug interaction. So far, not much serious problem. Maybe you have to be careful if you use paroxetine. It may reduce the concentration of tamoxifen. And paroxetine together with fluoxamine, like Luox or Prozac, fluoxetine may inhibit some of the cytochrome, which may interact with your chemo drug a little bit. Inhibitory potential of sertraline and C prime is quite low, so a lot of my cancer patients, we put them on sertraline. And also Effexor, venlafaxine and remorelmetaxapine are also quite a weak inhibitor. So if your patient have depression and they have cancer and on a lot of chemo drug, maybe you can consider metazapine for those who cannot sleep, cannot eat. Those can sleep, can eat, don't be too sedative, maybe you can consider sertraline. This is the systematic review we have done. Here's some of the recommendation. Suicide, you cannot avoid. Cancer patients have very high suicide risk. So always don't take it lightly when you assess suicide among your cancer patient. Especially they become too calm. Get the word, get the term, get the impression correctly. When your patient suddenly become very calm, you have to be careful. All the time they will come to your clinic and ask you, doctor, any second chance, any new treatment, anything you read lately about my cancer. But today when he or she come to your clinic and become very calm and sit there and say, okay, doctor, I understand. I know, I will follow. Then you have to be careful why they suddenly become so calm. I lost 1 or 2 cancer patients when I missed this. The next day, I received a phone call, they hang themselves at home. When the patient become too calm, we have to be careful. Suicide risk is always there. Even they have completed their surgery or their chemotherapy. So learn, understand your patient well. Sudden change in their character, their emotion state, always be careful. If you cannot pick up, ask the family member to monitor them closely at home. You may lose a cancer patient even though they have completed their chemotherapy. Adjustment disorder, I just skip this because this is a common term we use when we go and assess a patient. You see their emotion, your colleague referred to you, so very often we write adjustment disorder. I don't like this term. How to adjustment disorder cancer patient? Sure, you feel distressed. Because based on adjustment disorder, you look at the bottom line there. Mark distress that is in excess of what would be expected from exposure to the stressor. So to diagnose someone have adjustment disorder, you must make sure that the reaction is excess of what would be expected. So for me, the argument is, cancer bukan penyakit yang senang. How do you tell this not in excess or not excess the reaction? So crying is excess. They want to die is considered excess. They don't want to eat is considered excess. So it's weak. So a little bit difficult to say this is called adjustment disorder. So this is my argument back in my university. I say you diagnose this patient adjustment disorder, can you justify? Based on this definition, how do you tell this is called adjustment disorder? So use the words distress. Distress is good. So another thing is anxiety. So anxiety disorder have many types. You can be anxiety due to adjustment. You can have GAD, generalized anxiety. You can panic. You can acute stress. You can have phobia also. There are many types. You can have delirium also. Cancer patient, it may match to the brain, spread to the brain. It can have blood derange finding, renal impairment due to chemotherapy. So you shouldn't miss out delirium in cancer patient. So coping strategy. So this is good for those who are doing psycho-oncology or those undergrad students that you need to present what is coping strategy in cancer patient. So what we want to do is strengthening their spiritual conviction, being optimistic, rebuilding hope, enhancing appearance, and fighting self again. This is called the coping strategy in cancer patient. Because there is no more physical or practical thing that you can give a couple of tablets that make the patient can cope well. No, throughout the process, you need to strengthen their spiritual conviction, being optimistic, give them hope again, enhance their appearance, and find their self-value again. These are the few time points you need a good coping strategy. One is in the beginning where they're waiting for result. They are very anxious, they are very fearful. Diagnosis time, they will melt down, they will break down. Treatment time, a lot of side effect. Post-treatment time, they have to adjust their new lifestyle. So these are few time points. Patients are psychological weak. So we need to strengthen their coping. So they are fear of recurrence, fear of death, fear of stigma. Fear of death is a common thing. Yes, everyone relate cancer with dying. Actually, I always ask this question, when do you know you are going to die? Commonly, in general, when do you know you're going to die? Not that when doctor tell you have cancer, you know you're going to die. The day you are born, you should know you're going to die. Not that after doctor tell you have cancer. So it shouldn't change your objective of life. You are born, you know one day you're going to die. Do you mean that you stop enjoying your life, stop watching football, stop going to travel? No. But why people tell you have cancer, you need to stop all this? You have no that you're going to die since you're born. Why after people tell you cancer, you stop to enjoy, stop your value, stop your objective of life? So this is what I always remind my patient. You're still on the train. You know they is going to stop the train since the first day you are born. Why just because doctor tell you have cancer, you stop the train yourself? Continue, follow the journey of the train. Fear of recurrence. Yes, of the worry of recurrence, they have to change their lifestyle. They cannot smoke, cannot drink. They need to eat healthily. Then they feel so upset. I always tell them, even you pay 20,000, 5,000 to a beauty salon, they give you the same advice. They will ask you, eat healthily, don't stray, don't drink, don't smoke, sleep early, do exercise. But you willingly to pay the 5,000, 6,000 for your beauty salon consultant. But just because of oncology ask you to do this, you feel so sad lah. You say, ya hidup saya habis lah, tak boleh makan ini, tak boleh makan itu. But when the beauty consultant teach you to do that, you feel so happy. Wow, this is a good advice. I will become pretty again. I become attractive again. So just adopt a new normal life. It's no problem. I am not sure stigma, how bad is it in Indonesia? In Malaysia, I don't think there is much issue. Most society, community accept cancer patients quite well. We don't stigmatize them. We don't discriminate them. So I don't think this issue is quite serious nowadays with the education and public education. I think everyone accepts cancer quite well. So for those undergraduate, I think your lecturer only teach you two things in coping: problem focus and emotion focus. Problem focus means if you face something, try to find out what is the problem, try to solve it, get support to solve the problem. This is called problem focus coping mechanism or strategy. Another one is emotion focus, means if the problem cannot be solved, let's focus on your emotion. You feel a bit anxious, I teach you where to cope with your anxiety. You feel a bit down, I give some CPT, connective period therapy, or give you some medication to focus of problem and emotion focus. And these are the Westerner way of looking in coping strategy. We are Malaysian, you are Indonesian, we are Asian culture. There's one more coping strategy we adopted in our Asian culture, what we call it religious coping. A lot of time we go back to religion. We believe a lot of things can answer by the religious way. So some of you or a lot of patients may question, doubt. Hidup saya sangat sehat. Apa jadi? Mengapa saya ada cancer? Apa salah? No one can answer you. The best doctor can answer you. Maybe you need to use a religious way of coping, but use it in the correct manner. What is correct manner? Not correct manner. Refer to this. The first 7 items is the right way of positive religious coping. Look for a stronger connection with God. Ask for God help, love. Sought help from God in letting go of your anger. Try to put my plan to act together with the God. Try to see how the religions can strengthen me. Ask for forgiveness. Ask for religions to stop worrying about your problem. This is a positive way. How you cope, how you teach, how you guide your patient to cope it positively using religious manner. Trust me, some of your patients will develop the negative religious coping. When you ask them, do you have religious belief? Yes. How you cope with it? I ask the God why he abandoned me. Is he punishing me? Is the God disappear already? Or the devil override the God, supersede the God? Or maybe the God have lost the power. Some people may develop this negative religious coping. Try to correct them and change them to the positive way by using the religious coping. Why? I have done a study. Whether you use positive or negative religious coping will cause any trouble. All of it show if you use a negative religious coping, you'll be more distressed, you'll be more anxiety, you'll be more negative. So the negative religious coping is very dangerous. It's a strength in the Asian culture, but must use it in the positive manner. So in conclusion, try to detect the psychological distress in your cancer patient using the right manner, either the distress thermometer or the Ettingcott criteria. Address their condition practically. Don't give false hope. Learn about illness trajectory. Solve their symptom, treat their symptom, give them good quality of life, let them enjoy life. Don't institute unnecessary stress, treatment, admission, wrong hope to them to cause more distress. Religious coping with one of the things that we cannot ignore. And last but not the least, nowadays we focus a lot of mindfulness. So if you're interested, can learn about it. I'm not sure in Indonesia, mindfulness means stay at the present moment. Don't think too much behind, don't think too much in the future. Stay at the present moment. Pay attention at the present moment. Don't get reactant to it. Stay on purpose. Don't judge too much. This is a good example. A man and a dog going to a holiday. The dog can admire the scenery at that moment. Inside the dog mind is just the 4 trees and the sun. He appreciates the scenery so well. But the man is mindful. Instead of admiring the scenery, he thinks about his work, the money, the car loan, the presentation, the laundry, everything. Mindful. People are distressed because they are mindful. The dog is happy because it's mindful. So be mindful most of the time. So we have done this study on cancer patient. A lot of people say, oh, the psychiatry study tipu one, sebab you use skill lah, ask patient to answer lah, patient sure will answer good for you to satisfy the doctor. So we changed the strategy of this study. We use all the biometric. We use the breathing rate, blood pressure, skin temperature, skin response to check the responses of mindful therapy. What we see, all the physiological biometric result improve after we do the mindful breathing therapy with our cancer patient. So on top of what I have taught you just now, early diagnosis, medical treatment, religious coping, learn about illness trajectory. Another weapon you can learn maybe mindful therapy to help your cancer patient. I think in summary, there are many things we can do other than reduce coping. Mindful therapy can help. Psychological distress is very common. So I hope that with this short lecture, can give you some idea and hope can bring some benefit to your cancer patient back in your university in Indonesia. With this, I thank you for your attention. I hope I didn't overshoot the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. It's really insightful and interesting talk that you give to us. So many very important points that we have to give to our patients. I also have many questions from myself, but I have to read the questions from the students. So the first one from Husnul Fatkia. Is there any difference in depression management in Asia and other countries?
Is there any different to many and oh, definitely. I didn't share the article. I have done comparing Westerner and the Asian country in managing cancer patient. Because they are more educated, so the way they do it is more illness focused. For us, I think Asian country is still more of our soft approach. To bring in family involvement, to tackle the emotion issues, tackle the religious issues. So we are less illness focused compared with the Westerner country. So that's why I show you, you see my slide, it's more of soft approach. I didn't talk about what is the latest treatment to diagnose cancer and how to treat the neurotransmitter in the depression in cancer patient. So I think we follow our own culture. So maybe Indonesia doctor next time can share with me also what are the cultural aspects of handling cancer, depression, or anxiety in Indonesia. Thank you.
Yes, I think it will be very interesting, yeah, to compare the difference in our in handling our patients between countries. And the next question is from Ratrining Dia Dewi. How to set boundaries in showing empathy? So perhaps the questions will be how to give empathy but not sympathy. Perhaps.
Yeah. I think don't understand sympathy with empathy. As a professional doctor, we have to empathize. Empathize means you don't give your own interest to the patient and not letting them take advantage from you. Empathy is, I always use the mnemonic AVN. Is empathy. A, acknowledge. When patients share with you they are in distress, you have to acknowledge. Means you say, Pachi, I understand your feeling. Your feeling is real. Most of our patients in your situation, even myself in your situation, I will have your feeling. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. We validate. Uncle, your feeling is real. It's very painful. Whoever in your situation will go through this type of painful experience, validate them. Normalize, AVN, the last one is normalize. But it is part of the process. You have to go through this. All my patients, 90% of the patient, we have the same feeling like you, to let him know that it's kind of normal process. So this is called empathy. Sympathy is you cry with him, you go and hug him, and you give your phone number to him and say, anytime you can come to me, come to it. That one is breaking the boundaries and letting yourself exposed to the patient. That is sympathy. No, we just empathy. We don't sympathy. So there is a boundary. And physical boundary also. No personal phone call number, no contact you outside the office hour, but you give other helpline number. So physical boundary and emotion boundary have to be built when you want to treat a cancer patient. If not, you will cause yourself in distress state. That is very important.
Yes, thank you. And how should we prepare ourselves? Because we have a long relationship with the patient, and we also know, like you said, in the trajectory that he or she will die. So how should we prepare ourselves?
You have to compartmentalize. I always teach my patient, you want to become a good psychologist, psychiatrist, or counselor, you have to compartmentalize your brain. You cannot mix everything together. I go inside there, this compartment belongs to this patient. I absorb his illness condition, his treatment, what he need to address. So in the ward, in the clinic, I see him, I compartmentalize. Once he leave my room, this compartment I will close. I won't link it to my family thing lah, my hobby lah, my dinner lah, my lunch lah, my another patient. Means the patient is out, he's out, this compartment is gone. I maybe sometimes don't even remember this case once he out from my clinic, so I can continue with my daily routine. But next day when the patient come back, I open this compartment again. So you have to compartmentalize it. This is how I help myself in seeing all my cases every day.
Thank you so much. And the next question is from Indri Fitriani. How to balance fighting the disease and comfort the patients? Because sometimes the family or the patients also do not like to hear that we stop from the treatment, how to, especially the family, when we want to keep the patient survive.
So this thing only can do if you do all the support and treatment from the very beginning. You have to do it from the start, that you walk through the process with them. In the beginning, you never give them a false hope. You prepare them what is illness trajectory, what phases the patient in, and try to give some example. What are the subsequent condition or deterioration the patient will go through? Prepare the patient in the very beginning, then you don't have the issue what the questions here meant, because it seems like you cannot fight anymore, but the family members still want to fight to the bitter end, and it can show that there is some disconnection in the treatment approach. So maybe we want to avoid this. We have to start the planning and approach and treatment together, treatment plan together in the very beginning. So sometimes also I encounter this issue. Oncologists refer very end. When the family disagree with them, fighting, lose temper, then only they refer. So I say, you caused the trouble because you didn't do a proper discussion and planning with the family member and the patient in the very beginning. So unavoidable, these things still happen sometimes.
Thank you, Prof. The next questions from the staff in psychiatric department, Dr. Febrianti Danasasmita. Her question is there any specific questionnaire to measure distress among cancer patients? And how can we differentiate psychological pain with pain that is caused by the cancer itself?
So just to address the first one, I think the stress thermometer, and also you can refer to your PubMed check. One is the another skill we developed back in University Malaysia called suffering pictogram. We use it to measure distress in cancer patients. Suffering pictogram. So you can refer to these two skills, stress thermometer and suffering pictogram. Quite relevant because the item we ask is quite relevant to cancer patients, so you can use it. But the second question, maybe you want to initiate some study together with me how to differentiate the psychological pain and cancer pain. We haven't come to this stage. We didn't do any study research yet. It's a good idea. Maybe Dr. Fibendi would like to maybe initiate some proposal. We can do it together, how to differentiate these two pains.
Thank you so much, Prof. We only have 2 minutes more before 9. So if we still have questions or want to write proposal together with you or continue master degree or PhD program, can we contact you?
Yeah, please come to me. Yeah, most welcome. But must make sure you let me visit your university one day first.
Yeah. It's Atik's duty. Thank you so much, Prof.
Okay,
Really
bye-bye. See you
appreciate
then.
your time, and it's really helped us for our daily routine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you, Dr. Ang. See you this afternoon.
See you this afternoon. Bye. Bye.
Bye. See you then.
Oke, hatur nuhun Teh Sally, hatur nuhun Dr. Atik.
Terima
Sama-sama,
kasih
nuhun.
banyak, Atik, Yuni, keren banget profnya. Duh, nanti moga-moga ya bisa belajar lebih banyak dari profnya. Gimana nih, Tik? Nanti lanjutannya ya kita